Whilst it's quite easy to work out who is the alpha amongst Direct D and Chile de Castro, and Chile, it's not you, I'm having more difficulty working out who is the more stupid. This video is going to be about the stupidity of Direct D.
So somebody sent me some shit about allegedly I have a court date and a contempt of court and all this other crap. But that's irrelevant.
Okay, I have to make the warning here that although we know he has a show cause hearing, we do not know 100% that it is for contempt. We can assume that, and I'm going to assume that for the purpose of this video.
Let me explain to you what criminal contempt of court is and how a municipal court can't issue you a criminal contempt of court. It says it right here in the Arizona laws.
So at this point, I'm expecting him to read out something like Section 3.1, no municipal court can issue a contempt of court. But let's hear him read it out, because he did get to a certain level of reading.
They can't get the rules right from the Superior Court, and here they go threatening me with contempt of court that they can't even give you in a municipal court. Criminal contempt in Arizona is ARS 12861. ARS, Arizona Revised Statute 12861. Criminal contempt. So ARS 12861. Criminal contempt. A person who willfully disobeys a lawful writ, process, order, or judgment of a superior court by doing an act or thing therein or thereby forbidden. If the act or thing done also constitutes a crime, a criminal offense, shall be prosecuted against for full contempt as provided. Yeah.
Actually, I gave him higher credibility for his reading skills. He did make a couple of errors, but hey-ho. It would, of course, also help if Direct D knew what a comma was and intonated his sentences accordingly. Now, Dunce D is unable to open his mind to the fact that the Superior Court could make lawful writs, processes, orders or judgments that affect behaviours in a municipal court. But of course, that was just criminal contempt defined. We now have to look at the next bit of the law. You can read 12862 and 12863 as they scroll through, but I want to just have a look at 12864. Obviously, you'll need to pause the screen if you want to read both of those sections. So, section 12-864, direct or constructive contempts, punishment. Contempts committed in the presence of the court or so near thereto as to obstruct the administration of justice, and contempts committed by failure to obey a lawful writ, process, order, judgment of the court, and all other contempts not specifically embraced within this article may be punished in conformity to the practice and usage of the common law. So Dunce D has zeroed in on criminal contempt and has ignored section 12-864, direct or constructive contempts, punishment. I mean, if he had read this far, maybe he'd have queried why they had to repeat the words by failure to obey a lawful writ, process, order, judgment of the court, and specifically separate those from contempts committed in the presence of the court or so near thereto as to obstruct the administration of justice. And in addition added the words, all other contempts not specifically embraced within this article. Now, as an Englishman dealing with the final bit of this, the practice and usage of the common law, I am glad that the fine state of Arizona has still got legal concepts that relate to pre-revolutionary times and that can protect the running of a court.
A person who willfully disobeys a lawful writ, process, or order or judgment of a superior court. I haven't refused to follow any lawful writs, orders, or judgments from the Superior Court. So the Mesa Municipal Court threatening me with contempt of court is a f***ing joke, and you guys can go f*** yourself.
Now, I think I've made my point, but there is another item that I found which may well have helped Dunce D. This is really an educational resource. The Mesa Municipal Court in Arizona is a limited jurisdiction court, and this is a book that's provided to give judges assistance. It's a training book, so it's not up to date. It's January 2019, but it does give us a clue as regards contempt of court. If we run down the contents of the book and go all the way, and obviously there's civil at the top and there's criminal, and run down through the index. At the bottom, Dunce D might have seen contempt. Now, I'm not sure if his intellectual skills would have been able to work out limited jurisdiction, that's Mesa. Why is there something about contempt there? It only applies in Superior Court. Then if he'd have been able to find his way to the back of the book, I mean, that it is at the back of the book. He probably hasn't reached the back of many books. But if he had have done, he would have seen there's something of contempt, and there's a checklist for the judges in a limited jurisdiction court. It tells them that there's two classifications, and obviously here we're dealing with criminal. And it gives them the tests, gives them guidance on direct and indirect contempt. I think through this guidance, point 6 is particularly interesting. A note, in criminal contempt, the defendant is entitled to a jury trial if the incarceration is longer than 6 months, the fine is no more than $300, or both. Additionally, in this situation, if the defendant is indigent, the defendant is entitled to appointed counsel. Now, if Dunce D had actually managed to read down to the bottom of, let's say, a page in this book, he may have seen some footnotes that refer to Arizona Rules of Criminal Procedure. So I'm in a 2019 book here, but I thought, well, let's go and have a look at the Arizona Rules of Criminal Procedure now. So we start at 35.1. I'm not going to read it out verbatim. I mean it obviously to most sensible people. You know, contempt applies in courts throughout the land. The footnote 35.1, though, is interesting because at the top there it says, this rule is applicable to all types of contempt except the comparatively narrow class of direct criminal contempts covered by ARS 12-861 to 863, which must be prosecuted according to the terms of those statutes. I'm sorry I'm labouring the point, but I'm just going through this to show how much evidence there is out there that Direct D could have gone to, except he picked the bit he liked and went with it. And he's probably going to end up with many more days in jail because of that. So this is 35.2, and I'm going to go right down to the bottom because I suspect that that is what most of us are interested in, and it's the punishment. The court may not punish a person under this rule by imprisonment for longer than 6 months or by a fine greater than $300 or both, unless the person either has been found guilty of contempt by a jury or has waived the right to a jury trial. Just for completeness, I'll end with the final bits of Rule 35 on the screen. Obviously pause. This is the final one. I know it's hard. Chile probably is more stupid than Dunce D. However, I suspect Baby Mama and Baby could probably look forward to a longer break from Dunce D. Thanks for watching.